Hey gang, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of The Jace Perspective. Yes, it is Sunday night, almost 1 a.m. Bad Jace. Okay. So anyway, let's go ahead and get this started. Let's get it going. As you guys all know, I am your host, Terrible Ass Jace, and please do not take anything that I say seriously, as I don't even take anything that I say seriously, all right? So just go ahead and live with that. That's a disclaimer, as always. That's going to stay the disclaimer, etc. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and get it started. So y'all know now, this man is giving us fodder for days. Okay, Diddley is back in the news. Well, I don't even think the nigga never left. He's just stuck in the news, and it is what it is. So anyway, I'm not sure it's authentic, as we all know that right now AI is a monster. AI is destroying lives and setting people up left and right. But anyway, so right now there is allegedly an audio of Puff and Meek Mills floating around where allegedly Meek Mills is getting dicked down by Diddley. Now, I don't know about y'all who've heard this alleged sex tape audio, but it is disturbing to say the least. It makes my skin crawl. I don't like it. Reminds me of jail sex. Ew. I don't like to hear two men having sex. It turns my stomach. I'm sorry. I mean, I know, as a man, if you are taking dick, by all means take it. Love it. Luxuriate in it. I just, I don't want no parts of it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. It really disturbs my heart and soul. It just does. Because I see men in a certain way. But that's just me. Anyway, I really do hope it's AI. And as much as I'm enjoying this whole downfall of Diddley in real time, I don't want to. Anyway, I'm hoping that this is completely AI. Okay. So, I'm not saying that I don't believe that Diddley and Meek Mills have had relations. I do believe it, but I just don't want to hear it. I don't want to envision it. Okay. Anyway, so vomit. Diddley has recently been monikered the Jeffrey Epstein of the rap industry. This comes from a tweet by user IlluminatiBot. Now, according to the video attached to the tweet posted by IlluminatiBot, the new lawsuit is massive and it contains photos, videos, and it names names, etc. It's getting thicker and deeper, y'all. It's showing crime scenes with blood, allegedly. It exposes the fact that there were hidden cameras in every room of Diddy's house, in which recordings of celebs, executives, politicians, and underage girls who drinks were spiked with drugs. And there are even documents that have discussed the whole Tupac and Biggie debacle. This new document is huge. Now, the gentleman in the video also says that what he is showing and is talking about is, of course, opinions and stories. Nothing is set in stone. So basically, he is doing the right thing and he's covering his ass. He's basically saying allegedly. Okay. In the video, the gentleman also points out that the suitcase dropped against Diddley by Rodney Jones is not just naming Diddy as a solo offender, but also executives at all the companies associated with Diddley and the industry music groups themselves as well, such as one particular named Universal Music Group. And there have been hours of footage procured showing illegal acts amongst Diddley, guests, celebrities, etc. The gentleman also pointed out that it is indeed illegal for lawyers to make these claims if they don't have reasonable belief that this evidence is legitimate and exists, because they could get disbarred making these claims if they are not true. And some of that evidence is present in the lawsuit, like when Diddley allegedly shot a man And the LAPD saw the blood in the room, which from what I saw, I glanced at it, it was a lot. And the LAPD saw the blood in the room where this man was shot. Now, allegedly, Fahim Muhammad. Oh, I'm sorry. Jace. Stop reading so fast. But then again, it is like 1 o'clock in the morning. Mama is tired. I tired, y'all tired. It's been a rough weekend. A lot going on. Anyway, that don't matter. Okay, so it's, let me go back and re-say the sentence so that it makes sense. When Diddy allegedly shot a man and the LAPD saw the blood in the room where this man was shot, allegedly. Okay, I'm good now. Fahim Muhammad has been named as well. Now, who is Fahim Muhammad, you may ask? Fahim Muhammad has been named as Diddy's head of security. Fahim has the power to make people and problems go away. Quotation marks. Nasty work. Also, Patrick Bet-David, Adam Sosnick, Tom Ellsworth and Vincent Oshana were joined by Fox News host Jesse Waters, and they also touched on Diddy taking the fall on the Valuetainment podcast. In the conversation with the group of gentlemen, it has been said that in the lawsuit brought up by Rodney Lil Rod Jones, the footage and pictures displayed in the lawsuit were being used by Diddy as blackmail material against aspiring young artists in the music industry, and these parties were sponsored by none other than Motown Records CEO, Universal Records CEO, and other top executives. And the main purpose was to get these young people in compromising positions with laced drinks and hot videotapes. Basically, it would be a matter of them waking up the next morning and saying, what did I do? What the fuck did I just do? But at that time, it would be too late. Absolutely disgusting. With this type of evidence against you on tape, they can either guide your career or kill it. The choice is up to the person on the tape at that point, meaning, so let's just say you were that young aspiring artist. So let's say I was that young aspiring artist and I went to a Diddy party. As LeBron James would say, ain't no party like a Diddy party. So let's just say I went to one of these Diddy parties and I partook in some drinks and I became blackened out, we'll say. And next thing you know, I wake up with one sock on soaking wet, asshole hurting, coochie raw, shirt on backwards, hair stuck to my face, however they wake up. And I'm like, oh, shit, son. Where are my panties? Where is my sock? And why is this sock wet? But it's too late. Then you got Diddy over there doing the Birdman hand rub like, yeah, girl. So, what we doing? We moving forward with this album you want to do? Because I'll make it happen. Or, no. Either way, I got your ass up in the air doing some shit. With lions, tigers, and bears, oh my. What? Why are we blackmailing people? What? God gives power to the wrong people because just because you're powerful, I really believe that one of the main components for all of this is because you have this money, you have this power. So you know you can do so because you can, you do it. And it don't make it right. It's fucked up. Because I'm quite sure the shoe was on the other foot, and Diddley and these executives and whomever else were these up and coming people, they would not want this type of shit to happen. Like, where is your ethics? I guess when you make a certain amount of money, it's like, fuck the ethics. All that shit is out the window. I'm just going to do whatever the fuck I want to do because it's a. Listen, I'm just. Whoo, child. I can't wait for all of this to just. Hopefully, things will happen the correct way with these pieces of shit people that are in charge. Anyway, so, like I was saying, the gentleman, the group of gentlemen in the Valuetainment podcast went on to say, as I stated earlier, with this type of evidence against you on tape, they can either guide your career or kill it. The choice is up to the person on the tape at that point. So basically, I got you on tape. That's collateral. You either going to do what the fuck I say or I'm going to destroy you. Just because I can. You know, just another day in the land of assholes, right? It's also discussed on the podcast that Diddley was an FBI informant and snitch feeding info to the feds. The gentleman said they didn't quite know what that means and haven't been able to fully confirm anything, again, allegedly. But it was stated that Rodney Lil Rod Jones said it's not just like Epstein, it's worse. And we all know that with a statement like that, we know what that shit basically means. Not like Epstein. Worse. Yikes. Nasty work. Now, gets even juicier. The NDA, or non-disclosure agreement, aka the shut the fuck up paperwork, that must be signed in order to attend a Diddy party has been released. Now, apparently, NDAs basically force someone who signs it to not be able to say anything about things they see, things they experience, once the John Hancock of the person has been put on the papers. But with this sex trafficking probe, Diddley's accusers and the like can no longer, it no longer holds water. Okay. And Cassie's settled lawsuit could actually come back to bite Diddley in the very ass cheeks that he loves to force everybody to partake in. Love to see it. Now, I was going to read the NDA off for y'all, but that motherfucker is 3 pages long, and I was looking at it and all the wording, and the shit gave me a headache when I was doing notes. So, I didn't write down all of it's a 3-page. It's a lot. It's a lot, y'all. Okay. It's on the internet. You can catch it. But let's just say that this is how crazy it is. The NDA. So let's just say you attended a Diddley party and you had to sign it. This NDA is in effect for the life of Diddy plus 20 years or 70 years, whichever is longer. If I got to make somebody sign an NDA statement or an NDA agreement and that shit is raunchy, crazy and raunchy. So, Jesus. Where was this at? So basically it says here, I'm reading from radaronline.com, and it says the NDA shall inure to the benefit of and the binding upon the parties hereto and their respective heirs, executors, administrators, representatives, designees, successors, and assigns, the document states. So even if it's basically like you can't say shit, your mama can't say shit. So if you go home, you tell your cousin or your little brother or your wife or your husband what happened at the Diddley party, they asses can't say nothing either, and they ain't even sign nothing. But they're attached to you, so therefore we're gonna need you to shut the fuck up for like 70 years because it's buck wild. Ain't no party like a Diddy party. Anyway, the top secret NDA, was included as evidence in the $30 million sexual harassment lawsuit filed by music producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones, who accused Diddy of sexual harassment. Now, this next line is killing me. Okay. Jones lived with Diddy from September 2022 to November 2023 while working on his latest album, Love. So, let's do the quick math, y'all. September 2022, September, October, November. That is 10 months. So from September 2022 to November 2023, that is 10 months. Now, I'm not saying that Little Rod, and I said this in another episode that I did some episodes back when I was talking about this in the beginning. Now, I'm not saying that Little Rod was not essayed, molested, fucked with. But it states here that Jones lived, not worked with solely, not occasionally hung out with, but lived with Diddy for 10 months, September 22 to November 23. This is killing me as well. Throughout his time living with Mr. Combs, Mr. Jones was the victim of constant unsolicited and unauthorized groping and touching of his anus by Mr. Combs, the federal lawsuit stated. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I'm not going to live with no one who I am saying constantly, what was it? Throughout his time living with Mr. Combs, Mr. Jones was the victim of constant, which means all the time. So for 10 months, Rodney, my problem with Rodney is this. Stay with me. My question to Mr. Rodney Lil Rod Jones. Rodney, dear, honey bunches of oats, baby cakes, were you chained in the basement? Did Diddley have you locked in the house where you could not leave for those full 10 months? Why didn't you leave? Constant means all the time. So for 10 months, that's for something to be constant for 10 months. That's a long fucking time. That's a lot. Constant, unsolicited, and unauthorized groping and touching of his anus by Mr. Combs. So you just sat there and let this nigga, what was he? Did he sit on you and make you, like, at one point, why were you living with this nigga for 10 months? And every day this motherfucker touched your asshole. Or so you say. So you're saying in your, I'm not saying that the asshole touching didn't occur. But why didn't you leave, Rodney? This is where I was saying, and in that same episode, I said, at one point, we got to stop abusing this terminology of victim. For 10 months, if he was not restrained, if he was not locked in a room, you see what I'm saying? If Rodney Jones was not held against his, what is it held against? It's late, y'all. I'm sorry. If Rodney Jones was not held against his will, then at one point, Rodney, you can't say you was a victim, sir. You can't. You at one point you just gotta say I was a willing participant in just a bad situation. Rodney Jones, you were in a bad situation. You were in a bad relationship with this man. You were in an abusive relationship with Diddy. You were not so let's just say, for me, this is just my way of thinking. Let's say I was in place of Rodney Lil Jones and Jace was living with Diddy for 10 months working on an album. Diddy got one time to touch me, unauthorized and unsolicited, meaning I did not ask you to touch me. I did not ask you to touch my vag. I didn't ask you to touch my anus. I didn't ask you to call up the whores and force me to fuck them. I didn't ask for none of this. And of course, when you never know what somebody has in store. They invite you over. You never know. Everything seems cool. You know what I'm saying? You go in and it's like, oh, hey, yeah, hey, we're doing this, we're doing that. And then all of a sudden somebody grabs my titty or somebody puts their hand down my pants and touches my cooch opening or my asshole. I can do one of two things. I can say, get the fuck off me, and I can vacate the premises, or I could say, okay, and sit there and take it. 10 months, that's almost a year. And it just said lived. Not held hostage. Not held in the basement with the other sex victims. So this is where I'm having the issue with Rodney Jones. Sir, there is no way that I'm going to sit there for damn near a year and let some motherfucker sexually abuse me. In that case, I must enjoy it at some point because I am hauling ass. I'm leaving. He was not held captive. He was not a hostage. So that's my issue with Rodney Jones' portion of this. Okay. Why did you keep fucking with this nigga? He's the only nigga that's going to pay you money. You're a producer, right? You're talented, right? Why didn't you take your services elsewhere to people that's not going to touch your asshole constantly for 10 months? That's all I'm saying. I'm looking at Rodney like this. The side eye is siding, okay? Because I don't, that part of the story does not sit well with me at all. I'm just saying, nigga, you were not held at gunpoint. You were not chained to the thermostat. So my question to you, sir, and they're gonna ask us, and when this shit, and see, that's I don't know. Let me shut up. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what questions they ask. I've never been on the stand, so I couldn't tell you how it goes. But if I was a lawyer in this, and we finally came to the trial, if it goes that far, and I was questioning Rodney Jones, I would say, so Rodney, you said you was there from 22 to 23. 10 months, and this was a constant barrage of sexual assault, and you were uncomfortable. Why didn't you leave? The paycheck was that big. Clearly, it wasn't that big, nigga. You're running your chops. You're running your mouth. The gums is flapping. He assaulted me. He did this. He touched my asshole for 10 months. Now that it's done, why wasn't you saying this when it was going on? But I digress. I'm just saying, why are we allowing another grown-ass man to assault us for that long without leaving? That's all I'm saying, okay? But I digress. I guess now we just wait for the arrest, and let's hope that it's sooner than later. Kyle Rittenhouse, my boy. Team Kyle. Absolutely. Bang, bang, nigga. Kyle Rittenhouse was again a huge topic of discussion on April 16th and 17th on the Twitterverse. Now, let's refresh our memories on how this all started with Sir Kyle Rittenhouse. According to Wikipedia.com, Kyle Howard Rittenhouse is an American man who shot 3 men. Bang, bang, bang. 2 fatally during the civil unrest in Kenosha, Wisconsin in August of 2020. That was the China virus era. When he was aged 17, Rittenhouse was acquitted at his trial in November of 2021. He testified that he acted in self-defense. And yes, by all means, he did act in self-defense. Now, Andy, I think it's no, NGO is his last name. He's a well-known journalist, Mr. Andy Ngo, NGO. I don't know if I'm saying this man's last name correctly, but anyway, or Andy No. Okay. At a leftist, this is his tweet on April the 16th. At a leftist protest against Kyle Rittenhouse at Kent State, Kenosha gunman Gage Grosskreutz gave a speech. Grosskreutz, who now uses the name Paul Prediger, sounds like predator to me. Why would you change your name to a last name to sound like predator? Oh, y'all gonna see. I ain't done. Paul Prediger was the armed man who rushed at Rittenhouse with a pistol before being shot in the arm. Now, Gage, aka Paul, pulled a gun on Kyle with the intention to execute him at blank range. And he failed miserably. And the same people, there are some people who are angry, they are pissed. Oh, Kyle Rittenhouse, he should be guilty. Give him the chair. Hang his ass from the gallows. Bad Kyle Rittenhouse. We hate Kyle Rittenhouse. We hate him. They're pretty angry. The same people who are pissed are the same people who want the American public to allow degenerates to bust into their homes while they rape, pillage, and plunder. And they don't want you to protect yourself. They want us to get up. They want us to get on our knees when these criminals break into the house and say, oh, please, evil, worthless pieces of shit, please go ahead and just assault me and my family and hurt us bad and aggressively, badly rape the women in the house and the children and then just do horrible things to the men and kill us, please. It's okay. I would be honored to let you do what you want to me and mine while we lay here passively. These are the same people that are mad. They think that Kyle was not supposed to protect himself. They think that Kyle was supposed to lay there in the street and let these pieces of shit who was doing all kind of mess, destroying public property that had nothing, that did not belong to them. Okay. Yeah. They wanted Kyle to lay there and take getting his head blown off. That would have just made them really happy. Yeah. So now the same piece of shit Gage. Let me read the other one. The same motherfucker. Gage Grosskreutz, now Paul Predator. Oh, I'm sorry, Prediger. He was a low-life criminal with a rap of domestic violence convictions. This motherfucker beat his grandmama's ass and his girlfriend. And the gun that he went to go shoot Kyle with was illegal. Wasn't even his. He wasn't supposed to have that gun, so he probably stole it. Sounds like something a nigga like him would do. Okay. Now, not only, and I say Prediger sounds a lot like Predator. This nigga Paul, aka Gage, whatever the fuck this nigga's name is, okay? He's a PDF file and a serial child rapist. Kyle should have blown Gage's whole head off his body, if you ask me. Kyle did you a favor, sir. You still walking. He shot 2 motherfuckers fatally. It should have been 3, but I digress. Okay? Now, Kyle Rittenhouse was, is, and always will be innocent. Okay? Now, all you angry child rapist supporters, go cry about it to your mamas. Okay? Because no matter what, our boy is free. And there is nothing any of you worthless pieces of shit can do about it. Okay? And we love to see it. Go Kyle. A few weeks ago, I touched on a doc called Quiet on Set. Now, this is the documentary that exposed the child star traumas over Nickelodeon by the hands of resident piece of shit Dan Schneider and his good friend, Brian Peck, who only did 16 months in jail after brutally assaulting Drake Bell from Drake and Josh. Now, I was shown a really great clip by the executive producer, and I was going to play some of the clips in real time, but I tested it and you guys would not have been able to hear it at all if I just played it from my computer. Okay, I got to get an upgrade. But anyway, let me touch on some of the great points that Bill Maher made. He said that the doc, now this was from his show, Real Time with Bill Maher, and this was posted April the 19th. Now, some of the great points that Bill Maher made, I'm going to read some of them off from the transcript. He said that the doc didn't just expose a dangerous workplace for kids, it also exposed hypocrisy in the world regarding this whole situation. He made a great point about liberals wanting to crucify Ron DeSantis, Florida governor, for speaking out against wrongdoings of minors, which caused them all to call him a hick and a bigot. But now that the doc has been released, now the liberals are all disgusted and all up in arms. Oh, this is intolerable. Fake, phony motherfuckers. By the way, DeSantis was right. Was, is, and always will be right with the statements that he made, okay? So let me go ahead and read a couple of more quips from the transcript. So Bill Maher also said that the children were subjected to obviously inappropriate, highly sexualized degradation. And again, it didn't just expose a dangerous workplace, it also exposed the hypocrisy. So why is it that when the evil governor of Florida was saying the same exact thing about kids and creepy stuff at Disney that liberals now find intolerable, at Nickelodeon he was dismissed as a hick and a bigot, but why would a kids content factory like Disney, I told y'all motherfuckers is next. Soon come. Nickelodeon just got their ass handed to them. Disney, y'all's is coming soon. Don't know when, but it's coming. Okay? Can't wait. A 2014 CNN report discovered that at least 35 Disney employees had been arrested for sex crimes against children. And in 2021, Disney child star Allison Stoner, she's the young lady that danced a lot with Missy Elliott when she was a young girl. Allison Stoner confessed she only narrowly survived the toddler to train wreck pipeline. The next year child star, Cole Sprouse, told the New York Times that young actresses at the Disney Channel were heavily sexualized from an early age. Pedophiles all up and through this shit. What else did he say? I'm reading through it. Amanda Bynes was also a victim of Nickelodeon. And the Mickey Mouse Club. Let's not forget that that's where Britney Spears got her start. And look at Britney Spears and Amanda Bynes. 2 total train wrecks. That's what happens when you, MK Ultra people, look it up. That's what happens when you take these children and you sexualize them and you abuse them. Causes them to have to disassociate and have to jump out of their bodies while all of these god awful things are happening. Now, Brian Peck, like I said, he only did 16 months in prison. Once he got out, do you know that they hired his ass over at Disney? I guess to say, hey, buddy, you got kicked out of Nickelodeon. Come on over here. We got some more kids for you to molest and destroy. You know, because we love it. We love to do it. And I didn't know this, but listening to Bill Maher, I became aware of something called, what is this? It's a name that he said, Bill Maher. But basically, it is the situation where there are Instagram moms who are practicing fansing their little daughters, their pageant queen daughters, by having them wear skimpy bikinis and eat bananas to build social media stardom. Ah, yes, they're called charers, a hybrid of sharing, charents, that's what it is. So basically, a charent are these parents on Instagram that have their little girls wearing these bikinis and eating bananas. And I'm quite sure the numbers is probably, I don't even know where to begin to look. He didn't say any names. I'm quite sure it's each of these accounts have millions of subscribers and followers, and they probably all old ass nasty PDF file men. But anyway, it's a hybrid of sharing and parents, basically pimps. When are we gonna stop hurting these babies? When are we gonna stop pimping them out and exposing them to motherfuckers who only want to harm them, putting them in harm's way? I have been saying this for the longest time, and I will never stop saying it. God gives babies to the wrong people. And it's crazy that they would let money. It's all about a check. All about a check. The higher the price tag, the quicker they are to get them babies up to these devils. And also, too, there's a situation of now how these parents take their kids to these drag shows, these drag story hours, these drag story times. They got these little kids in these drag shows tipping the drag queens. Now, let me say this. For my birthday in 2018, I went to Paisley Park to go see Prince. Happy anniversary. Today's Prince's. I don't like the anniversary, but it is his anniversary of his passing. But anyway, Prince. I went to Paisley Park for my birthday. And one of the things that we did is we went to this, it's no longer there, but it was a club called Lush. And Lush was a gay club, and they basically did not gay brunches. They basically did drag queen brunches. And it was an amazing show. We had a great time, me and my two girlfriends from childhood. We had an amazing time. I even got up on stage and I performed, got a chance to do my little happy birthday. I walked across stage, had a ball, did shot. It was an amazing time. The performances were amazing. Drag queen is an art form, okay? It's an adult function. I am a grown ass fucking woman. I would never bring my daughter, well, now that she's in her 20s, if that was her thing, sure. It's a fun thing to do, depending on the mood, right? Okay. It's an art form. I do know some straight men that, not know them personally, but I have watched documentaries where there are men who are amazing performers and they sign up with drag queen troops. Do what you do. Okay. But again, it is an adult atmosphere. Why are we bringing children into these facilities, letting them tip, and in a facility that has a sign up on the wall that says it's not going to suck itself? What are we doing? Inappropriate. 5-year-old kids, taking them to a facility where they can watch drag queens perform and tip them, while all up underneath a sign that says it's not going to suck itself. So what are you going to do when your child says, "Mommy"? Because I had both my children, they are now, one is 25 and one is 13 going on 14. And of course they know but when they were younger, I got asked quite a few questions. "Mommy, what does that mean? What did they mean by that? What does that saying mean?" So how you going to explain to your child, it ain't going to suck itself? What you supposed to say to them? Oh, that means you. That means the dick. It's not a dick is not going to get sucked on its own. Why would you even put a child in that situation to ask you that question? That means it's an inappropriate atmosphere. Okay. Now, anyway, um, Bill Maher said many more brilliant things regarding the situation of the abuse of children in the industry and in general, and how society is slowly and insidiously turning it into being okay to essay kids and molest them. But no matter what you vow, people who support this try to do, you are never going to get the rest of us to find it okay and to turn into disgusting monsters like yourself, okay? Kids don't need to be involved in anything that is meant for adults. It was not okay then, and it's not okay now. And for anybody that feels that it is okay to do these things to kids and to expose them to shit and just do all of these horrible, disgusting, vile, life destroying things to them, you should go fix yourself a tall glass of bleach mixed with the sharpest pieces of glass and drink it. Okay? Absolutely. And just like that, I'm out. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I will see you guys next week. Bye.